Hello, everybody. Ollie, you're in here already. Let's go. We are like goats. Oh, okay, I can't see anything. Welcome to round 4, tier 2 for F1 21, as we find ourselves in Brazil for the race today. And it's raining. Of everything we would ever want for F1 21, for Brazil, sorry, we have wet. I love Brazil. I hate it in the rain, though. Having said that, I liked my P2 yesterday. I'm happy with my P2 yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy with that. But before we got on with qualifying, although we are now a minute into qualifying with no drivers out on the grid, we would like to remind you that we are affiliated with Rogue Energy. Please use code PHX at checkout for 10% off of your order. It probably would help if I updated my game source to recognize F122. Yeah, Ollie, you know I recorded my race yesterday?
Yep.
Without capturing my screen.
Oh, lovely.
So I've got all of our audio tracks of screaming and crying about crashing out, this, that, the other, or oh my god, these fights are panicky.
Yeah.
But you can't see any of it.
Oh, that's very unfortunate.
Indeed. As we see Point K, the first driver to come out the pits. He's also, to my surprise, running in manual gearing. When I spoke to him yesterday for F1 21, he was in no mood to do manual gearing. But I see him now doing it, and I think he's just locked up going into the first corner. Oh, I say the first corner, sorry, the first corner out of the pits, which is turn 4.
Yep, as we have 3 more drivers coming out of the pits now.
And it's going to be a huge learning curve for him if he's got ABS on. We are in the rain, so it is going to be miserable weather for the race. But it'll be certainly interesting to see how our drivers fared during this situation. As we already have Pinax, who's out of the race, out of qualifying.
Wonder what happened there. Is he... I think he might have crashed on the exit.
Has Lava come out the pits yet? No, good. He has a quali ban. ABS on default. Ollie, have you put ABS on? Yeah, you turned off ABS. Okay, well, red flag. Yep,
okay.
Red flag.
That's right.
Alright. Back to the briefing room. Alright, well.
Red flag.
Yeah, red flag.
Settings are wrong.
welcome back, everyone. Apologies for that. Slight mistake on our part. We may have gotten the settings a bit wrong and scuffed them so that all of our drivers were locking up out of the pits, which is why we had the very unfortunate ending of Pineax coming out of the pits. But fortunately, we are back underway. Hopefully, with all things intact, all things functioning at full capacity. Full throttle? I don't know where I'm going with that line of train of thought, honestly.
Yeah.
Send help, Ollie.
I could have sworn it was on.
It happens. It
Happens.
happens. It was your first time hosting. It's like
Yeah.
part of the blame does fall to me because I should have double checked it and I didn't. It just slipped. It's one
Yeah.
of those settings you can really just like. If I go into the assist restrictions, you can't see on the stream. You can see like you'll go through assisting, braking off, and then you just see brakes again. So it's very easy to slip that off by accident. But here we go with qualifying for the second time. The race should take about no more than an hour and a half, so we should hopefully be within the window to be able to do Tier 1 without any delays to Tier 1. Fingers crossed.
Okay, anti-lock brakes is on.
Don't worry, I've checked. You know what I should have checked? I checked everything, but I only checked that. I should have checked everything. We are perfect at this, we promise.
I think I got most things right.
The important one is the safety car.
Uh,
Yeah, you've got it all.
Yeah.
That's fine. You got formation lap on, safety car off, park firming off, pit stop on immersive, corners cutting on strict, and rules and flags on.
And I remember to put
The
AI up to
only
60.
thing is the session start time, but I think that'll be fine because it's raining. It's not like you're going to have the sun glaring in your eyes like you're
Yeah.
racing on Zandvoort. If you go for Zandvoort in the early morning, you are blinded trying to go into approaching into turn 1. So seeing your braking zone can be quite difficult. Here we go. There we go. There's Point K. Again, the first driver to be out on the track, and he does not lock up. Let's go.
Which
We've
is
got the
good.
settings right. Now we can see our drivers actually make it round the corners. You know what? I think now that we've had a red flag on stream, I need to have a keybind for red flag on stream.
Yeah. Or like a... Have you got a... Like a piece of artwork that you can just put...
I mean, I've got the thumbnail for the stream, but that's about it.
might just be worth putting, like, old letters saying, session has been red flagged.
Yeah. Right, here we go. Let's go on board with Point K down towards the line, starting his first hot lap into the first corner, dropping it all the way down to third gear. So even down to second gear. Beautiful cornering through the center S's.
And T-spot.
As he hits the throttle a little too hard, unfortunately, coming out the exit. The curbs there are one to kill you there. We have who just behind? We've got Griggs just behind, coming down the main straight. Oh, sorry, the second straight. So many drivers, I can't tell who's on the hot lap, who's not. Into... I've lost the corner numbers, I apologise. 7 and 8. There we go. Very hard corners through 7 and 8. Up into 5th gear, you can't really push it down too much in the rain. As we now go through corners 9 approaching up to 10 and 11. Very sharp corner. Hitting the apex is almost crucial for your time around this track. Now as we approach into sector 3, he hits a 153.6 into the final sector. Final sector is basically just a long straight with a slight kink every like 100 meters or so. As we see him now going tight along the inside wall of the track, right along the limits of the track limits. I've repeated myself, and he puts in a lap of a 1:10.5, who Stu then quickly demolishes that with a 1:09.4. Who's then matched by Melzi with the exact same... Oh no, wait, no, a second quicker. It is exactly a second quicker. Hi, Nadeem.
Am I allowed to race? Am I fully allowed?
You're allowed to race. You're a reserve driver. You are the TP.
Yeah, okay.
And I approve it as FIA, yes.
Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see what happens. If I win today, then
Okay, here comes Point K now. Point
Oh,
K
okay, fine.
with a beautiful toe going down the main straight. He's got a McLaren just ahead of him. Hopefully that does not hinder his ability to go around the corners. Up into 8th gear, pushing it all the way to the limit. Keeping the car perfectly on track, sorry. Is this McLaren ahead of him? I think he's on a hot lap as well. Yeah, he is. We've got 2 hot lapping cars, one ahead of the other. Very unfortunate timing to see them right behind one and the other. So we see Chris now going through towards the final sector, setting a 1:53. Unfortunately, 2 seconds off of his previous best lap. I think this might be his in-lap, to be honest. Now I think about it. As we go back on board with Point K, he's trying to stick behind that car. Got to get as best as he can, following the tightest line to the line. That's a 22-second improvement, which is great, because obviously those 22 seconds was from when he unfortunately spun coming out of the center S's. It is a very difficult corner, honestly. If you're not careful with your throttle, if you're not careful with the turning of your car onto the curbs, you can completely kill your car. As I experienced firsthand in F121. Although a very different game, very different driving style, you still can die by hitting that curb.
Yep,
It's not a great curb.
Yep, they can be absolutely deadly.
As we see here, we've got Lava on the track, who's not set a lap yet. He's he's approaching to the line now. What will we see? The Alpine driver crossing the line into 3rd with a 1:08.5. A very good lap indeed. With the top 5 currently the only drivers to achieve a sub 109 lap. Who else do we have on the grid on the track right now? A couple of drivers just on their slow lap. Point K diving into the pits. Dutch Gamer, Belief starting his hot lap now. Potentially, he's got 60% ERS. Down the second DRS straight, which unfortunately will not be available to the drivers in the rain. DRS will not be enabled down to 4th gear. Perfect turn in on the apex there, through corners 3 and now approaching towards 4. Through 4 and approaching into 5 and 6. Sticking very close to the curb. Just missing the apex, but still keeping his speed up, his minimum speed into the corner as high as he can. Quickly up to gear 6. Again, just on the edge of the curb there. But still, it is the minimum speed, or the maximum speed that you can get into the entry. Still able to control your car is the most important thing that you can get. And now as we go through Sector 3, like I said, essentially a straight. That is all it is, with a couple kinks in it. Down to the finish line, DRS wide open, very little, basically no ERS left. It's a 0.4 improvement, promotes him up into 9th place. Very good lap indeed by him. As we got Mousy, Mousy's finishing a lap. Oh no, he's not, he's doing now he's doing his lap, here we go. Mousy, our current pole sitter, provisional pole sitter for qualifying. Very good control of his car into the center S's, coming out of it towards the second DRS straight. He's got a car just ahead of him, fortunately just a little bit too far out for him to receive a tow. Manages to control the car very well into the 3rd corner, into the 4th corner. I keep getting those two mixed up. Here we go, down towards the very uphill, leaning to the right corner, as unfortunately Mousy does exactly what other drivers have done. It's such a bend in the corner. I feel like, in my personal opinion, even if you've got a high downforce setup, you will still spin if you push the limit on that corner, because you've got so much going into the car into that corner.
Yeah. I tried so many different setups, and
you tried a ridiculous amount.
Yeah. And I still wasn't comfortable with it.
As we watch Pinax now, currently sitting 5 1,000ths behind Mousy. Let's see him now go through the corners. Let's get a bit of a helicopter cam, if possible. Down through the DRS straight. So far, just half a tenth, sorry, quicker than his previous best. All drivers today, unlike F121, unlike F121, you can choose whatever tyre you wish to race on for qualifying. in previous games and in previous seasons, whatever tyre you qualified on was the tyre you would start on. And considering that this is in the rain, regardless of what game, you can qualify on the hard compound tyres and still start on the inters. Though I would not advise starting on the hard compound tyres. If you are qualifying in a 108 on hard compound tyres, you don't deserve to be in Phoenix. You deserve to be pro level. That is incredibly quick. As we now watch Pinax come through the final corner across the line. Can he improve? He improves by more than enough. A 108.0, taking pole position from Mousy Cheese. Very good lap indeed by the McLaren driver.
Absolutely.
And if I remember correctly, I'll have to go over and take a look at the standings. I believe McLaren are actually currently sitting on top of the leaderboard. Let's see, we've got standings for Tier 2. No, Tier 2 we currently have Mercedes at the top with 86 points for the constructors, with McLaren currently sitting second place with 75. And for Tier 2, our current driver in first place for the Drivers' Championship is Pinax, who's with a 5-point lead to Ghost Rider in the Mercedes. So this could be very good points for the Mercedes driver. He could snatch first place in the Drivers' Championship after this race, or will Pinax continue to extend his lead? Very interesting indeed to see what will happen here. We do have a couple drivers today. We've got one driver that retired just last week, and to everyone's surprise, we find him on the grid today. Mr. Nadim Legacy Jr. has put himself in reserve for his own team. Let's see what Nadim can put in. He puts in a 109.0, putting himself up into 10th place. Very, very good lap indeed. It was a 13 one-thousandths of a second behind Destroyer Drac in the Alfa Romeo. Have to say, it's quite a surprise to see Nadim back on track. Yeah. After all, he joined the commentators' box saying, "I've got something special to say. Can I have an interview?" So that, you know, why not? You know, we've got a team principal interview. Why not? And to surprise us all, he comes in to tell us he's retiring from racing in F1 22. He's retiring from his Tier 2 seat. So to see him now here today to race is definitely a surprise. Definitely a happy surprise for us in the commentators box. Because Nadim's always one to be keeping an eye on. He's certainly a quick driver. And he's a very competitive driver. I do like racing with him sometimes. Though I do find he is he's quicker than me, which is really annoying. I understand we've got good drivers here, but it's a little annoying. I like to have fights with equal drivers, and I've not yet found someone who's equal with me.
Yeah, but it absolutely was a huge surprise when he announced his retirement.
Yeah. Who do we have? We've got Ghost Rider coming up to the line. Battery full, DRS wide open. Here we go. Ghost Rider. Is he going to be able to get into the... Is he going to get onto the front line? He does improve his previous time by 2 seconds on that outlap, apparently. But no, he still finds himself in 6th place. Let's see. Can Ghost Rider improve his chances on the start of the race? Can he get himself up into provisional pole, potentially? Down in towards corners 6, 7 and 8. Very tricky. We've seen a few drivers already spin out today around those corners. Very close to the curves. Very good cornering right there. Sticking right on the curves, which unfortunately, in the rain, the curves are probably your worst friend when it comes to racing in the rain, I find. You can be... Sometimes they can be helpful, sometimes they will be the reason you spin out, as we now see Ghost Rider with a beautiful exit out of corner 12 into sector 3, now coming down the main straight. DRS wide open, practically empty. Here we go. Tight along the wall, across the line. Promotes himself up one place by 1.5 tenths of a second. Good lap indeed, unfortunately not good enough to get into the second row. He does find himself at the front of the third row. You're working on a masterpiece for next season, Trexie. I don't know whether to be worried about that masterpiece or excited, if I'm entirely honest.
Both.
Just yes. I think yes is the appropriate answer.
Yep. Top 10 then, just separated by 1 second. Very close.
Apologies for that. Let's see, we've got ourselves... Let's go on to Disco Stew. Disco Stew are currently nearly 2 tenths up on his previous time. Is that a teammate ahead of him? That's an Alpine ahead of him. But just close enough that he might be able to get some... get a tow from him. DRS wide open, following the car ahead, rightly so. Across the line, improved by just under a tenth. Fortunately, that does still leave him up into 7th place.
So we have Mousy starting a hot lap, just going into corners 1 and 2.
Do you want to take us through the hot lap? Put you on the hot seat.
Just activating DRS. Into the first DRS zone.
Into what corner?
Into the corner 4, going into then corner 5 as well. Down a little bit of a straight, but not too long. Now into corners 6, 7 and 8 can be very deadly if you get on throttle too early. He has a house in front of him, which gets out of the way. Just through corner 9, going into now corner 10. Now as he goes through corner 12, getting ready to activate DRS, of course. And goes tight to the line.
New fastest lap by 4/1000ths of a second. What an improvement. That was amazing. Great commentating.
My commentary, not so much.
You're just doing corner numbers, but still, it was good.
Yeah.
As we have Robbie, I believe that was him retiring in the pits? No, coming out of the pits, I believe.
Oh.
Very unfortunate to see. Trexie, didn't you retire though last week? You and the team. Oh no, you retired and then you signed on with another team. You left Aston Martin. You left Aston Martin and Nadeem retired to leave Aston Martin empty. How could you? How could you do that to Nadeem? He was your teammate. He retires. So you just leave the team. God. Must be heartbreaking for him. I feel bad for Nadeem. Though, as I did mention before, we do have Nadeem, a surprise visit by the team principal for Aston Martin. Finds himself on track in his own car. Though I do not believe he'll be on a hot lap for this one here. He's got no DRS. No ERS, so... yeah, it'll be difficult to improve your lap time here. He is half a second slower from his previous best. Who do we have next to cross the line? There's a lot of people. We got Point K improving. Chris, the other McLaren from out of nowhere, improves by 7/10, putting his car on pole. Can Pinax get a McLaren, a papaya orange lockout? But Pinax unfortunately has an invalid lap time. Unless someone breaks up that duo, we're going to have a McLaren 1-3, one car behind the other. brilliant lap by Chris. Who do we have next across the line? Is that Med across the line? No improvements there. His car is the duo. So the duo of Alpine drivers find themselves locking out row 6 on the grid. What else do we have? That looks like a... there's so many cars on the grid. That looks like a AlphaTauri. Is Point K. Point K's not on a hot lap. Who do we have behind? We've got the 2 McLarens. So many cars. I think that's basically it. Just waiting for Pinax to go across the line and the 2 drivers in the pits to, well, get in the pits.
Yep.
It's really annoying because when you go in the pits for qualifying, you have to wait till the car goes into the garage. And then, oh look, the game says it's over. So they may be in the pits, but we still have to sit here, wait for about 30 seconds. Watch the car, get it, you know, lifted on the jacks, then rolled away. Yeah, he was your teammate, and he may be the one who left, but it's a surprise visit to see him on track. And it's always a delight to see your team on track, because he can be really quick. In fact, impressively quick. So, of course, it's exciting to see our drivers come back. He's done an Alonso, except retired last week, and then comes back the same week, like, straight after. Not even a break in between. But that is qualifying. We've got 1/10 splitting, not even a tenth, 5 100ths splitting the top 3 on the grid today. I don't know what to say. Like, if this is the pace they're pulling out in the dry, I'm really curious to know what kind of pace they'll be pulling out in the wet.
Yeah.
Hi, Kevin. Hi. Do you want to join us in the commentary box for Tier 2? If you want to join the waiting room, I can drag you in if you want. You are always welcome to just join us. Your commentary is delightful to hear. You have some good insights. Your words are fulfilling. Honestly, half the things you say, I could not have said it better. I mean, I think both Ollie and I, with our brains combined, can't say anything better than what you can say.
Personally, I don't think my brain works.
No, it does. I had to I had to think there. Should I say something? Should I? Nah. I'll be nice.
No. Why did you have to think? How rude.
Into corner 3. Into corner 4, DRS wide open. Into corner 6. No, it was good. For your first time, throwing you on the hot seat, it was good. You did good job, I'm proud.
Threw me under the bus.
Okay, I guess I threw you under the bus. You know what, I'll take it.
It was okay. I just basically said corner numbers. So... Luckily, I do have a amazing track map.
Same. And because it's Brazil, I'd love to know Brazilian, how to speak. I can't speak English. Kevin, help. I'd love to be able to pronounce the corners, but the only corner I can pronounce is the easiest one there, and the one corner that I think everyone knows, and that's the center S's. No one will ever forget the center S's. I mean, it's also the same corner where we got to watch Verstappen pull a very risky dive down the inside on Hamilton, causing them both damage. 2 inters for the race. So it does say 2 inters, but the weather prediction for the race is a wet start with very heavy rain for the middle and third part of the race, the final part of the race. So we will see the drivers on the wet tires. I did make the mistake. I unfortunately had wing damage during one of my races, or one of my practices, and I thought I'd try the very risky move and go out onto the inters when it's heavy rain. On the straights, yeah, you'll feel like you've got grip, but you cannot stop in time for the corners. Shock horror, who would have thought that? Clearly not me when I was practicing. So, yeah, no, I learned my mistake. don't go on inters when it's very wet. You will have so little grip coming into a lot of these corners. Could a wet one-stop work? I mean, yes, but also no. Kevin, the thing is, the biggest thing that the drivers don't have any data that can help them with this is no one knows when the crossover point is. So for tier 4, if I remember correctly, the crossover was about lap 12. The crossover for tier 3 yesterday was about lap 7. So it could be a one-stop, but the issue is, as we watch the drivers, oh my god, that is amazing to watch all the drivers just swerving. Fortunately, Chris does not line up on the grid perfectly. Yeah, the issue is, if it's like yesterday where you had 6 laps and then you pit for the wets, those wets aren't going to last 30 laps. Here we go, as we are waiting on the line. Chris up on pole, McLaren right behind in 3rd place. 5 red lights, and away we go. Very slow, very tentative start by everyone. Looks like Pinax getting a very good start. Mousy finds himself up into 1st place. Lava and Med, the 2 Alpines, up there as well. Unfortunately, it does look like Chris was pushed a little bit wide off of the track. Mousy with a very strong lead. Lava and Med, the 2 Alpine drivers, almost comfortably up into the top, into 2nd and 3rd. There we go. Med deploying that ERS. Finds himself now right behind his teammate up into 3rd place. Ghost Rider up into 4th. Very good start. Let's look at his I'm panicking. Help. Position change. There we go. We find Pinax, unfortunately, was pushed a bit wide coming into the 1st corner. Though he does manage to keep his car intact and on the track. We've got ourselves Destroyer Drac, the Alfa Romeo, finding himself a position. In fact, he's fighting right alongside Nadim. And this is an amazing camera angle. This is the broadcast view. Thank you. As we now come through the hairpin, we do have Nadim going round the outside of Pinax as well. Oh, it's not Pinax, Chris, sorry. That was... Oh, there's so many cars alongside each other. Further down the grid, we got ourselves Tech, who finds himself 2 place down from the start of the race, unfortunately. With Stu also down a place. Point K with a pretty good start, finds himself up by 1 position. The Aston Martin, the teammate to Nadim, up 2 places. Robbie staying the same, and Semi Dan unfortunately finds himself down into 15th place. And we've got Griggs, who's been disqualified. How have I not noticed it? How did I not catch this?
Yeah, I think he's been struggling to rejoin the session.
I knew he disqualified like Pinax, or like Chris did, as we see Ghost Rider going really wide, trying to go for a move around Pinax. Pinax managing to keep his car just ahead of the Mercedes driver. Yeah, no, I knew he got disqualified going onto the formation lap. But I didn't see him get disqualified for the race start. It was very unfortunate to see. We'll have to look at the incidents after this race. What is this camera angle? It's absolute terrible, to say the least. God, Cody's can't even get good camera angles. Very unfortunate start for Chris, yeah, finding himself down into 8th place, 7 positions lost. But we've got Destroyer Drac up into 6th place. He's gained the most positions off of the start. Very good start by the Alfa Romeo. The drivers are able to adjust their wings. We do have Park Ferme off, as Mousy puts in the new fast lap. We do have Park Ferme off between the sessions. So it is possible for the drivers to go from a wet to a dry setup. So we've got Robbie coming up on the tail of Dutch Gamer. Will we see him try and go for the move down the inside? Oh, it looks like they've had contact. Fortunately, Rob losing out from that fight. Well, it was a very risky move by Rob there. But fortunately, he manages to keep his car fairly stable and keep it going, losing position to Jas. Jas, who is deploying heavily, have to defend. Slightly ahead, we've got Destroyer Drac. The second of the Alfa Romeo duo finds himself up into 6th place, right on the tail of Ghost Rider. Currently fighting for P1 in the championship, Ghost Rider is, and this loss of position this early in the race could be detrimental to the rest of his race, but there are still 33 laps to go, still lots to happen. Mousy pulling off a 3-second lead already to Med. That's insane. Mousy is just too quick. As we watch Mousy now going through towards the line, 3.6, 3.7 seconds ahead. He is comfortably ahead. Med putting in the new fastest lap, though. He's cutting that time down as he approaches Senate S's into the 2.4 range. Slightly further back, we still got a good battle between a lot of drivers. We've got Nadim and Chris all within a second of each other. Destroy Drac now within a second of Ghost Rider. That's 4 drivers all within a second of fighting for 5th place. This is the rain, however, so you do not have DRS. One of the biggest advantages, especially on tracks like this where you got 2 DRS straights, it is disabled for the rain. It is due to safety concerns. These cars with a lot of speed and their lack of grip, you will find yourself spinning if you had DRS wide open, and it will be horrible for all drivers on the grid. Welcome, WS, welcome. Pulse here, hello. Wi-Fi, yeah, I know what you're trying to say. I can't pronounce it. I can't English today at all. As we go slightly further ahead, we got Pinax 0.3 behind. He does have plenty of DRS, but, sorry?
I said you guys missed out on one of the greatest LMP2 finishes of all time.
I don't know what that is. I F1 drive car around circuit. That's it.
Basically, it's like no, I don't know how to. It's endurance racing, but LMP2 they were 24 hours right throughout because it's in Daytona. Guess what? 0.016 seconds separated them.
Damn.
It was a photo finish. Yeah, that's after 24 hours of racing.
Point K with a brilliant corner through Senna S's. Unfortunately, Stu having to go defensive. But, unfortunately, it is the rain. There is very little that you can do to be able to get the straight line speed. I mean, I say there's very little you can do for the straight line speed. We did have someone in Tier 3. Ollie, I think you were basically on the cusp of this as well, where you had the grip in the corners, but then the driver ahead of you or behind you had this grip on the straights.
Yeah.
So I say it's impossible to catch on the straights, but it is possible. It's just a matter of where do you wish to lose time? Do you think you can make it on the corners, or do you think you can make it on the straights? As we see Med, oh my god, Med is barreling down towards Mousy. That gap now down to 1.7 seconds, 1.6 seconds, with a gap of 3 seconds now. Sorry, to his teammate behind. Now within a second, crossing the line. Are we going to see Med in contention of winning the race?
Are we going to see Darkness throw up today?
No, I'm drinking water. I'll survive.
It sounded like it. You like.
Cthulhu, I'm not too sure what happened to Griggs. I know, Ollie and I noticed that he was disqualified during the formation lap, but I think Chris also had that as well. That's when you go too far in your box, or you miss your box entirely. But then when it came to the race start, I honestly have no clue. No, I didn't even see a message pop up for disqualification. So
yeah,
very odd indeed.
He got disconnected for some reason, and I sent him an invite. But unfortunately, by the time he got back in, his AI must have disqualified him or something like that. Really unfortunate.
So we have Semidan, unfortunately, to be the first driver to fall victim to the 3-second penalties for track limits. This really will be a race of attrition. We will see the drivers driving as cautious as they can be. It is the rain. You are basically driving on ice, but cautious as well of track limits. You miss your braking zone, or you go for a move down the inside, you will find yourself going across the track limits. And especially in the rain, your time penalty is going to be a huge difficulty to clear in the rain, because you can't pull away as easily without that DRS. As we've got Med now 0.4 seconds behind. He is right on that gearbox of Mousy. Brilliant drive so far from Med today. Already up 3 positions and on the tail of Mousy, who is 3 seconds ahead of everyone else behind him. Or 3 seconds ahead of Med, sorry. Out of the 3rd lap. Or out of the, 3rd lap. Into the 3rd lap, I should probably say. That's the better English. Got ourselves Pinax now going alongside the Alpine driver, Alava, all the way down into 9, 10, into 10 now, towards 11, finds himself his car length ahead of the Alpine. Lava will still fight this though. Still right on the gearbox. Plenty of ERS to deploy as well. Will we see him fight for the position now on this straight? Oh, into the center S's. Med finds himself 0.3 behind. Oh, what are these camera angles? I don't want to see the gearbox in the front wing. I want to see them fight. Thank you. Oh, and now we get to see the rear wing.
You know what we need?
The car looks flying. Why does Med look like he's floating? This is brilliant. And we've got Pinax right on tail.
You know what we need is you know what we need for F122 is the ability to select your camera.
Yeah, ACC style.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we go. Pinax round the outside. Very risky corner to try and go around the outside. Right on the gearbox. Goes for the inside move. Sticks his car perfectly. Both entitled to space around that corner there. Oh, very close between the two drivers. Very clean between the two drivers. Round as we go towards now corners 10 and 11. Pinax with the inside line. Well ahead. But can we see Lava with the switchback? Going down towards into Sector 3. Still right on each other's gearbox. But I think here we will find Pinax now promoting himself up into P3 comfortably now. Very good move by the two drivers. Very, very clean between the two drivers. As we see Lava, I think, deploying all of his batteries, going for the move. Round the outside, along the straight. Very, very easy move indeed by the Alpine driver. Finds himself back up into P3.
Battle. This is a solid battle.
Move over to Ghost Rider. We've actually got all the way between 3rd place and 7th place. All of the drivers are within a second of each other, all the way down to Nadim, all the way down to Chris even.
I didn't even realize that.
They dropped just slightly out of the 1 second gap, Chris.
That's insane. Like, I don't... When it comes to that, like, having that close, there's not a ton of races that we see where every single... There's just battles up and down. You know, usually there's kind of a lull in the action. Not today. Wet Brazil always delivers.
Is that Ghost Rider? Oh, I thought Ghost Rider was going to try and make a move down the inside. As I mentioned previously at the start of the stream, we do have 2 current contenders for the Drivers' Championship, for 1st place in the Drivers' Championship, might I clarify. We've got Pinax currently in the lead, and it is crucial for him to stay in P1 in the Drivers' Championship after this race. He needs to have more than... well, Ghost Rider can't have more than 5 points more than him at the end of this race, as we see Lava now pitting. Could it be that swap over point? Could it be that point where we think the wets are ready? Welcome, Kevin. Thank you for joining us here in the commentator box. Here we go. On to the wets goes Lava. Is this an early call? Is this a late call? Well, it can't be a late call, but is it a very early call? Is it right on time? We'll see.
Is it the correct call?
Could be an attempt for the undercut, as we see Point K going alongside Disco Stew right into the end of the 2nd DRS straight, or 2nd straight now. It's not a DRS straight anymore. Into the 4th corner. Point K making 3 positions off of this since the start of the race. Very good.
Darkness, my question is, do you think it's the right call to go on the wets?
Now, it doesn't... I mean, for us, it's going to be client side, but it doesn't look heavy enough.
Exactly.
But
I don't know why he would.
Then again, it could be, as I mentioned, it could be the undercut. Go on it a lap earlier. And in 22, you do have the tyre warm-up. You come out the pits, you will have colder tyres than you would ideally have. So it can be a strategy call where he wants to find himself in that window on hot tyres already before all of the drivers ahead of him try and pit. As we see Nadim now going in the pits, Lava finds himself 33 seconds behind his 30 seconds behind his teammate. So we'll have to see if that is good for him. Tech as well finds himself in the pits. We've got a double stack. We're going to have a double stack Aston Martins into the pits for the wet compound tyres, and Robbie to finish out the rest of the drivers currently pitting in for new tyres. Are we going to see the double stack work, or are they going to delay each other? They delay each other for almost a couple tenths, but that was it. Very good indeed by the Aston Martin team. as if we can, choose whether the Aston Martin team can do well or not with their pit stops. You can't have driver error. You can't have pit stop errors, unfortunately, in multiplayer. Though I think it would be quite horrific for a lot of teams if you had if you had a pit stop error in a double stack, and your teammate behind you is just stuck because obviously your pit crew's made a mistake.
Okay.
I would lose you so much.
Oh yeah, it'd lose you a stupid amount of time. The inter-wet undercut won't work. It will lose time under inter-conditions. Does it really? I mean, I know wets will lose you time in the inter-conditions, but it can also help him fire up the tyres. So if he pits a lap before it starts to rain, as we see Mousy, Pinax, and Destroyer Drac now going in for their wet tyres, promoting Med, Ghost Rider, and Chris up into the top 3 for the race. You won't lose too much time. Well, the thing is, I mean, obviously, it's all entitled to perfect timing, your pace as well, and your opinions about how you feel on the car. Personally, for myself, I found that it was a horrible idea to try and pit a lap early. I pitted perfectly when Mark, the new race engineer for F122, told me to pit, which turns out to be the perfect time to pit. But yeah, no, it definitely does come down to the perfect timing. If you find the perfect changeover point to make it worthwhile. As we find Lava, who is the first to pit onto the wet compound tyres, finds himself now up into 7th place. Though he doesn't appear to be gaining any time on Pinax ahead of him, who is also... oh wait, no, Pinax is also on the wet tyres. Okay, well that seems reasonable if he's not gaining time. They're on equal tyres. As Med, unfortunately, receives a 5-second time penalty for diving in the pits. That's going to be huge to his lap. To his race. It's going to be a huge loss for his late race. As from my experience of racing in the game yesterday, I don't believe, as Ghost Rider and Chris also now pit, I don't believe the wet compound tyres can last, 23 laps. I think at most, maybe they can go for, like, 20 laps, but pushing it to 23, I think, is a chance.
You're really going to have to save them, yeah.
Yeah, you're pushing the limit of what those tyres can do. As we find ourselves with Med on fresh, wet tyres, though he will still have to warm them up, but he's right on the gearbox of Med, as we have Dutch Gamer retiring from the race.
Yellow flag. Did he retire on track? Or?
No, he died. He unfortunately died. It is a very difficult corner. If you go through it too quickly, you will find yourself spinning, as we have Med now finding himself attacking really well on the Alfa Romeo. You don't need to warm the wet tyres. I thought, maybe you don't, it could just be that I'm terrible at this game, which honestly I wouldn't put it past me to be terrible at this game, but I thought you don't need to, as Tech also retires. Where does Tech retire? Unfortunately, that is a retirement on track for Tech. That will be a penalty point on his license after this race. We do have it in our rule book. If you wish to, as I cut off, Med going into the lead down the main straight. Does he manage to get himself a car length ahead? He does. Med finds himself now up into the lead of the race. Mousy demoted back down to P2. That was a beautiful move down the straight. But we will have Mousy, although only 0.2 seconds behind. We will have Mousy.
Do they have the same penalty? Do they have the same penalty?
No. Med did go into the pit speeding, unfortunately.
Okay.
It is one of those penalties. It is one of those tracks where you come into the pits so quickly, especially when it's raining, you will find yourself crying going into the pits so quickly, because it is very difficult to stop in time if you miss your braking zone. Even in manual gearing, you can try and slam it or slap your steering to the left or the right, try and cause as much friction, as much traction, or whatever the words are, I can't think of the words, to stop your car, but no, it's a deadly one. It is a deadly one. Wet tyres are perfect at even a 75% tyre degradation. That's impressive, to be honest. I would have thought, the way I keep thinking about it, and obviously I've clearly, from the fact that I don't know what I'm talking about, I've not tried this myself, but I felt like the wet and the inters will go like Ocon's tyres at... Ollie, what race was it last season? Or 2 seasons ago? He turned them into interslicks?
Was it Hungary
Turkey,
or
wasn't
Turkey?
it?
Okay.
I think it was Turkey. It was Turkey or Hungary. It was one of the two. But I thought the game would be designed in such a manner to go in the same idea, where it gets so close to the edge of it, it'll either puncture or you'll have no grip because it's basically a slick. But
Yeah.
Palsy, you've probably got far more practice than I do in this race, in these conditions for practice. So I do trust your judgment a bit more than I do trust my own. As we see now, Nadim 0.5 seconds behind Ghost Rider, currently P2 on our championship. Now approaching the second half of the race, finds himself in a very unfortunate battle of attacking lava and having to defend from Nadim. You know, got to keep the pace up and not lose too much time, either in front or behind.
Yeah.
As Mousy then had a spin and has lost position to Pinax.
Oh no!
yeah.
How have we? Okay, well, I was talking a lot. Just lost 7 seconds gap. Yeah, very unfortunate to see. But Mousy is a very quick driver. If you saw on the inters, he did manage to pull away from Med and the rest of the grid very quickly. So Mousy, although just 2.5 seconds behind, I think once those tires cool down, I do know this very well indeed because I've had plenty of spins. Those tires can get heated very quickly if you go through a corner and spin. So I think after maybe a lap or two, he will be in the perfect window to be able to catch Pinax again. But very, very good for... as we have a... Oh my god, what is going on? I think we have a collision between two drivers, Chris and Destroyer Drac, coming down the main straight. Yeah, they're on the left side as we go on with Point K. Yeah, it's a two-car collision, I think, between the McLaren of Chris and the Alfa Romeo for Destroyer Drac.
Oh, lovely.
Fortunately, we do have safety car off. If you have not experienced it yet, consider yourself lucky, because the safety car in this game is absolutely trash. Cody's are not Codemasters, they are code beginners, because it's just all over the place. You can have the safety car kind of phase through your car, disappear, appear on track, do all kinds of things. We'll cause drivers to DNF, have penalties throughout the wazoo, and it's not fun at all.
We had the safety car last weekend in I think Tier 1. Yeah, safety car appeared for us as commentators and spectators, and was just driving along the track. Did not exist for the racers, just us.
Yep.
Very interesting indeed. I forgot what I was saying to be honest now.
You were there, weren't you? You were.
Yeah, I was spectating. Yeah. This was when, unfortunately, the game decided to kick me out of the race. As we find Mousy now, very close on the gearbox. It'll be Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider's in the pits. What's happened to Ghost Rider? I can only imagine. Ghost Rider's retired. Okay, he's had enough of this race. Yeah, that's a front wing change. Very unfortunate to see Ghost Rider having to retire from this race. Fortunately, he does do it in the pits, so it is safe.
Retirement. I'm looking at this right now.
Quite unfortunate. He is currently, what was it I said earlier, 5 points behind, was it, in the championship right now?
Yeah.
So very unfortunate to see him retiring from the race, which does mean Pinax after this race will keep his position up there, as Nadim and Mousy find themselves gathering. Yep, nope, they're gathering penalties now, like flowers in a field. Be sure to go to your local garden, pick up your own penalties. You know, they are just sitting there casually. As we go through the penalties, we do only have 10 drives total.
How long do they live for? How long do the penalties live for?
Forever. We've got 5 drivers without penalties. Unfortunately, Med is the only driver who can serve the penalty. Unlike the rest of the drivers on the grid who have penalties at the moment, will not be able to serve those penalties till the end of the race. But unfortunately for Med, it will be a huge loss for him. It will be a huge disadvantage, for him when he goes in for the pits, if he needs to go in for the pits for a fresh set of tyres, because he will be stopped for an extra 5 seconds. If I remember correctly, you lose about 24 seconds in the pits. 25 seconds in the pits. As we see Nadim now making a move on Mousy. I need to stop talking, honestly. Jesus. I need to shut up sometimes.
Let me talk.
As we see now, Nadim and Mousy really fighting. What has happened to Mousy?
Kevin, do we have duct tape
as he goes into the wall, unfortunately, Mousy losing his front wing.
Is that a
Mousy
retirement? No.
went from qualifying on pole. Sorry, not qualifying on pole. Qualifying second.
Is he gonna retire the car?
Well, we'll have to see. Hopefully not. He's a very quick driver. We also have 10 drivers left, so everyone
Yeah.
is able to walk away from this race with at least 1 point in their pocket. Let's see who the current fastest lap. I think the fastest lap is currently with Med indeed. So Med currently sitting with 26 points. Unfortunately, Mousy, no front wing, will have to pit and grab himself a fresh set of wet and a new wing. As now we reach that point in the race, we're about just after halfway through the race. The closest fight we have right now are the teammates, the William duos of Stu and Dan, as Mousy, unfortunately and understandably, does retire in the pits. Very unfortunate race by the Alfa Romeo. Though, as I did mention again already, you know, you've got 10 drivers left on track, so everyone can secure a point.
Yeah,
So
I just realized Nelson
every
just beat
point is
F2.
like valuable. I know that for me, for example, I think 9th. Oh, sorry, 9th. What am I about? 19th in the Drivers' Championship, but every point
Yeah.
is still valuable. We'll ignore the fact that I died in F1 21 in the rain. But it is unfortunate to see, but we do have a close battle between... Oh, well, we don't, not anymore. We have the closest battle now on the track is just between Semidan and Jas, which is 2 seconds. We've now hit that kind of bland section of the race, unfortunately. All races, even in real life, we have that bland section of the race where it's either you wait for a spin or you wait for drivers to pit again for another battle on the track. Or even, you know, we'll see drivers like Pinax, for example. He could pull off the pace from out of left field and in 26 laps, or in 16 or 17 laps, sorry, managed to close that 7-second or 9-second gap to the driver ahead. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now, but we do reach that portion of the race that's quiet. Chris, Chris, what
Kevin?
happened though? I'm not going to comment on whose fault it is. You know, obviously we didn't see it. I was talking too much, so fortunately we couldn't see what happened. But no, I'm definitely interested to see what happened there, Chris, because it did look like a good fight between the two of you. I mean, you had a very unfortunate start, finding yourself down into P9, I think it was, a P6, something like that, so somewhere in that area off the start of the race. But yeah, no, it was very unfortunate to see that you ended up having to retire from the race from a collision.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not going to comment because, well, I didn't see it, but even if I did, there's a lot happening, as we have Stu, unfortunately.
Anyway. We'll see it on Tuesday anyway, but...
yeah, well, we have Stu now in the pits.
Yeah.
And it really... it was so exciting, this race.
Oh, no.
It was so exciting, and now it's just so quiet. You're listening to... Yeah, you're listening to your engineer and everything.
NPR radio. That's darkness.
That's fair. I mean, Chris, it happens. It is... Not everything's always in our control, and it happens sometimes. We'll get distracted or we won't notice something. I mean, it's also a matter of adrenaline. You know, I've been caught in that situation where I just don't realize this. I panic. I make a mistake. I cause an incident. So it happens. I can't remember who it was. I think it was you and Destroyer Drac, wasn't it, on the main straight, if I remember correctly. So very unfortunate to see, but it happens to the best of us. Fortunately, you do have the season break.
At least you apologize. Yeah, and you at least apologized about it, so it's not... Yeah. I'm not too worried. It'll be fine.
At least you got the season break next week, so everyone will have that nice, comfortable 1 week. Put up your feet, relax, enjoy a cup of tea, and a couple of biscuits. I'm British, okay, I can't help it. I like my cups of tea and my biscuits. But no, take a break, enjoy, and then obviously we'll see you in 2 weeks, Chris, at Zandvoort. It's definitely going to be an interesting race. Hopefully, we don't have a constant rain race again. I like rain races, but I prefer wet to dry, dry to wet. So, ciao, Chris. Cheers for the race.
Put it in the reports.
Okay. It's up to him. If he can self-report. We do encourage, although we don't encourage you to self-report. We don't want you to think you're in the wrong. You apply for it, and then like you weren't in the wrong. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. We do encourage you to self-report, but like, don't feel like you absolutely have to. It's a matter of if you think you broke a rule or if you think you need a clarification, then we welcome you to report it if you don't know, because it helps educate yourself and other users who look at the reports to say, okay, yeah, I was in a similar situation, okay, I know to avoid this or avoid that. But if it's a clear cut and dry, you know you were in the wrong or you know someone else in the dry, then obviously you report it. Because it then makes the racing aspect fun for everyone, and those who do cross the line or make the mistakes are penalised accurately and correctly for the next race. As we see Pinax now closing in that gap, he's now 7.5 seconds, closing the gap to Med in pole. Med still without 5 seconds. Pinax is within 2.5 seconds of, after penalties, taking pole, taking first place. I need water,
Yeah.
my mouth is dry. To no surprise, my mouth is very dry.
Have you drank enough Rogue Energy?
No.
Oh, okay.
I still haven't had mine. I know my mate, one of our newest martial recruits, Viper Strikes, aka Joe. I know Joe ordered his, I think, what was it, Ollie, about a month ago? Or
It
something
still
like
hasn't
that.
arrived?
And
3
it,
weeks, 4 weeks.
three or 4 weeks ago, and it arrived earlier this week. He's tried the cherry pop one. He enjoyed that one. I can't remember what he
Okay.
said about the others. I've decided to. I've opted to go for the free trial that they have, where you can get
Okay.
3 different flavors. So I think I'm gonna get pina colada, cherry pop, which is the hydration drink, or the hydration pack. And I can't remember what the third one is. Probably gonna go
Turns
for
out
like
they-
exotic fruit or something like that.
They sell it on Amazon too. I didn't even realize that, but they sell it on Amazon for like $25 for like a solid like 12 pack, like a full case of them. I'm like, oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, I'm one to be cautious because the thing for me is I don't want to order it and then find myself not enjoying it, which is why I've gone
And
for the
then you're
trial.
stuck with the whole pack. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair.
but I also know a lot of my friends, Joe for example, does enjoy it, and
Yeah.
for the most part, we have similar tastes in drinks and stuff like that, so no, I trust it. Mousy, welcome.
Yeah.
Unfortunate to see that you have retired from the race. Mousy, you do realise, I know it was a very unfortunate race for you, but you realise had you stuck around on track, you would have at least secured 1 point in the championship. I know it's only 1 point, I know it's not much, but, you know, it could, for argument's sake, you could then come out on pole and win every race for the rest of the half of the season, and then end up winning the Drivers' Championship, and that 1 point could be the difference of you winning. But it's unfortunate. It is what it is. There's nothing we can do to change it. It is down to you. So we have Semi-Dan now crossing the line, closing that gap now within 2 seconds of Jas just ahead of him. Your tires were hot. Do you want, can I give you some eggs? Oh, I fancy an omelette right now. Can you just cook that for me, please? I assumed
What kind
tires
of
were
ham do you
hot
want?
because
You want some
unfortunately
ham
I
in there
did.
too?
As I was speaking, I did see that. Again, another situation where I found myself speaking, and something happened. But I did see that you didn't have any grip going
Commentators
through.
first. Or just stop talking.
I did find you struggling for grip in the middle of Sector 2, so yeah, I kind of figured it was either your tires or you had damage around your car. But yeah, very unfortunate to see that you're gone from the race.
Yeah, it's interesting in the fact that like most races are great, to be honest.
Dare I say, but I think although I love racing, wet to dry and dry to wet races, I think in terms of commentating, wet races are so much better. Because it's purely then down to the pace of the car. Well, along with the setup, but like they are vital in the race. Whereas in dry setups, or dry races, sorry, you have the tyre compounds, you have DRS, you have... Well, ABS is a much bigger thing in dry than in wet, I think, in my opinion. Oh, actually, no. In wet, I think having ABS is... I don't know. I'm not going to try and comment on ABS. But, no, I think wet races, you find a lot closer races, even though everyone's on equal performance. because it's down to so few variations to change who's quicker, who's better in the corners.
Yeah.
And
you know, interesting. I don't know if they do this for the esports version. You know, because I know they have a different version, which is supposedly more stable and stuff. That like the esports guys use. I wonder if in that one, do they have like a mode where you can change the camera?
I doubt
Like
it. If
manual.
anything, they'll be partnered with EA or with Cody's, and they'll
They
have
do,
like
yeah.
developer options to be able to have the different cameras.
Which
But
really
even then, I
sucks
don't
for us.
think they'll have they won't have the free selection that ACC has for camera angles.
I kind
As
of
we
wish,
see Semidan now half a second.
wish they
Oh
did.
my god, he's half a second, less than half a second behind Jas.
Nice.
I mean, he's got very little ERS. Jas with 30% more. But yeah, no. The other thing with dry races is, from everything I've read so far and a few of my friends that play this game a lot, although the soft tires in the older games, if you went out on a soft tire and you went out on mediums, softs are faster by far by 6 or 7 laps comfortably.
Yeah.
But they don't in 22. They don't fire up as much. They fire up quicker. But they drop off a cliff a lot quicker. Your pace difference between your softs and the mediums, you're far better off going for the mediums, because they don't drop off as quickly, and you still get almost the same pace. It's slightly slower, but in terms of having to then pit and grab yourself a new set of tires, mediums are like so much quicker, so much better. And it's why I like 22 as well, because you'll see a lot more drivers doing hard, medium, medium, hard. Semidan goes in the pits. I think Semidan's had enough of those tires.
Probably. I mean,
14 laps. Well, no, you can definitely push them a lot further.
Look at how it's not that wet though. So like, I'm
No,
assuming he's going.
This is
He's
still
gonna
very
go
wet
back
weather.
I know, but he's putting in new wets. Okay, interesting.
So I think, if anything,
Is
potentially
he gonna,
his
he's not,
tires
but
were
he's not
just...
gonna like he gets a free pit stop anyway, so it's kind of like might as
But
well
he was
take it.
closing in on Jas. He
I know.
definitely had the pace to be able to take Jas and take the position.
I'm just saying, like, he had a free pit stop, so like, might as well take it, right? Like, look at the space between him and Stu. There's more than enough time. So that's my guess is why he decided to do that, is he had so much time between him and Stu, and so he was just kind of like, why not? I'll take it, and then I can use those tires, right, to now catch up to Jas.
I don't think he's going to catch. He's got 8 laps to
I could be
catch
wrong.
23 seconds.
I could be wrong,
So
obviously, but I
Yeah.
could be totally 100%.
the thing that I love about 22 over the other games is you'll see a lot more drivers going for a hard medium or a medium hard pit stop strategy. Whereas with 21 and 2020, you'll have soft, medium, medium, or soft. It's always soft something, something. You'll find the odd driver, a handful of drivers going for the mediums, such as myself. I love to start on the mediums. I know the strategy is sometimes better on a lot of different tracks that I enjoy racing. But I love 22, for having a decent balance of their tyres to make it a lot more reasonable that, actually, let's start on the hards or let's start on the mediums because I can have a better pit stop strategy.
Oh, you know what? I don't. Do we have tier 1 today, don't we?
Yep.
Yeah. Somebody's asking about the notification bot. I'm assuming it's automatically it'll pop up in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it will pop up. It should have popped up 40 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago. I can't maths today.
It's not there. Just enough.
Nope, the thread has been made for tier 1.
Oh, there it is. I see it now. Lol.
It has been made. We may run over a little bit. We are still about, minute 20 per
Did we
lap
get
with about
delayed?
7 laps.
Did we get delayed? Or...
Yeah, we were delayed hugely. We were delayed by 20 minutes. But we should be more than enough, because the full race length, if we started on time, would finish around 7:30. So we'll be almost cutting into a little bit of the briefing. But fortunately, Maverick will be here to be able to handle the briefing, so we'll be fine here. So we have Nadeem now a second behind Lava, though he does have those, I think it was 3-second penalties. 3 seconds of penalties.
Yeah.
He certainly does. He has certainly shown that he has the pace to be able to catch up to Lava and potentially pull out that 3-second gap, stealing that third place from Lava. I still, honestly, I didn't want to see Nadim retire. I can understand why. The game is buggy. It is really annoying to drive with. But I also don't understand why he would do that, because, you know, he's in Tier 2. Tier 2 has got a lot of drivers. There's a lot of fun to race in. I mean, I say that. We've got 6 drivers out the race. Very unfortunate to see. But it can be a lot of fun if you don't have rain to throw into the mix of things.
Yeah. My brain is frying. But then again, I was up. I've been up. I got like 6 up. Maybe, no, probably even less. I was, what time did it? 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Although you've
I have about 4
not
hours
said
of sleep.
much. Mostly because I did a lot of talking.
Yeah.
Please save my throat. Please go say something. I don't know, commentate for a bit. I need the break.
Well, the closest gap we've got so far is Nadim to Lava. There's 1.2 seconds, but of course Nadim has a 3-second time penalty, I think.
Yep.
So we will see what happens with that.
God, you really do love the hotspot, don't you?
Oh, I do not.
I'll take over. No, what was I saying? Oh yeah.
Here we go, point 7.
My brain is
How much?
frying. My brain is frying.
Oh my god, Lava's... Sorry to cut you off, but Lava's got 55% ERS. Nadim with only 10%. Although he's right on the gearbox going into the center S's, he's not going to have the DRS to be able to cut that cap down. Considering he's still got those 3 seconds of penalties, Nadim crucially needs as much ERS as possible.
Oh yeah, Lava's way away.
One thing to note as well, like, I'm curious to know how many drivers underfueled, because I made the mistake in our Tier 3 race, but between Joe, Ollie, and I, we were all fighting for podium positions, and I found myself to be, although I think it was like 10 seconds ahead of Joe, I was underfueled by a lap and a half, about 10 laps to go. So I had to conserve so much fuel, and it was detrimental to my race pace. It was horrific. I was slowing at least 2-3 seconds a lap, purely because I had to save fuel. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how much fuel did these drivers go in with. I mean, more for I want to know, because I want to learn from my mistake. What is the ideal roundabout area to have your fuel down to? Obviously, it's different for all drivers, but still, a ballpark is always nice to have.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. I think it's going to be another race of just keeping your car patiently behind the driver ahead of you, waiting for a mistake on their end, or recharging enough ERS, recharging enough battery to be able to cut that time down.
Yellow flag, sector 1.
I believe that was Semi or Disco. Yeah. Unfortunately, having
it looked like a stopped car there. First corner, probably a spin. Oh yeah, what was it? Oh yeah, brain fried. 4 hours late because Daytona 400. Daytona 24 hours. I was going to say Daytona 400.
You could have recorded it and just watched it after you slapped.
No! It's way better to watch it live when
What,
I'm
you
exhausted.
don't record races like the good old days? I remember waking up in the morning, or having my brothers wake up early in the morning, go downstairs, and put on the VCR to record the race, or record the show or something.
Well, the reason I did the way I did it is because if I had done it through like NBC or Peacock, right? Apparently, there's so many ads. I went through the Netherlands and did it through IMSA TV. So.
As we've seen Nadim going into the pits, Nadim absolutely had enough of those tyres. He's going to lose the position behind him to Point K, promoting Point K up into 4th place.
Oh.
Will Nadim have enough time on those fresher, Wet.
He has 1 lap, 1 single lap to do it.
Well, no,
Because
he's got 2 laps or 3 laps, sorry,
One-
to try and
warm-up
fight.
lap. I'm taking out a lap for warm up.
There isn't much warm up. I mean, Paul made a very good point. With the wet tires, there shouldn't be much warm up. In fact, he doesn't lose the position. Oh no, wait, he might do. It's going to be close between the 2 drivers. He comes out just ahead. Oh, very close indeed between the 2 drivers, though he does have so much more grip on those fresher softs. What am I on about? Fresher medium, fresher wets. I can't tires today. Oh my god. But we've got
And
Point
today our
Gay
drivers are on
now
the,
within a
soft
second
the soft
with
blue tires.
soft blue
and
tires. There you go.
Yeah,
He
they're
does
soft blue
have
tires.
20 lap old tires though. It will be
There are no wet tires anymore. Just color tires.
colored
They're on
tires.
The blue tires.
We do
On the
have
blue
Point
tires.
K on those 20 lap old wets. God, Pulse, why would you have to say mediums in the chat? You just
They're
confused
not
me.
mediums. They're the yellows.
The
They're the
wets.
yellows.
He's got
No, they're the
20 old
blues.
lap. He's got 20 old lap wets. So
No,
unfortunately, it
we'll
will be a huge
simplify
loss.
it for you.
I
We'll
cannot talk
simplify it
over you.
for
Oh
you.
my god.
That's the point.
But yeah, Point K will have a hard time having to catch up.
Yeah.
This is in fact Point K's first race, I believe, in Tier 2 with manual gearing, which
He's
will be
working
very
his way up
interesting to
to
see
Tier 1?
how he does with that.
Is he trying to work his way up to Tier 1?
I don't know, but he is a good driver. I had a good fight with him during T3 yesterday. A lot of fun with him.
Nice.
But yeah, we find himself here racing with us tonight, unfortunately, as he does seem to have come down with a cold. He does seem to be ill. So, very unfortunate to see that he is ill. But, you know, hey, he may be ill, but it means he gets to race with us. So, you know, we're happy. More drivers for us to spectate and watch go around a very wet Brazil. A very rough Brazil.
Yeah. Oh.
Here we go as we
Well,
have Lava now into the pits. Lava, who will be coming out of the pits just to, I think, considering Point K was 19 seconds behind, he's going to come out just ahead of Nadim, I think. Coming in, had enough of those wet compound tyres, now coming out with a fresh set. Here comes Nadim down the straight. We do see him in the background. Here we go. Cross the line. Into the center S's. You can see Lava just in the corner of your screen there, coming through the pit exit. It's going to be close, but I think Nadim is going to be able to take that position from Lava.
There you go.
More than comfortably, just over a second now. Nadim finds himself up into the podium positions on track. However, Nadim is one of our drivers to have the penalties. He does have himself the 3-second time penalty. So it will be interesting to see if Nadim, with those two lap older tyres compared to Lava, will he be able to pull it off, as we see Pinax also into the pits. Pinax having enough of those tyres. And he does have a free pit stop to the cars behind him. He does have 42 seconds gap to Nadim behind him. So it is a fair move. You know, it is the final lap of the race. Why risk it? Why not go for fresh tyres and make it safely to the line and finish in P2? A very good drive by Pinax, finding himself up by 1 place. As we go with...
I just realized Pinax was in the pits and I go, wait, what did I miss?
as Pinax now comes out of the pits, he's going to be, I think that's going to be 20 seconds ahead of Nadim.
Oh, he's got plenty of time.
He was 42 seconds when he came in. Yeah, he'd be about 22, 21 seconds ahead. As we go on with, with our broadcasting camera, with Med as he comes through into the 3rd sector. Now to come through the 3rd sector to finish this race. 36 laps around Brazil in torrential downpour. Med starting from 5th, having a brilliant start, now comes across the line to win here at Brazil, and he still had that 5-second time penalty with more than enough time to secure 1st place. What a brilliant drive by Med indeed. Yeah, honestly, I've got no words for how that drive was for him. Pinax now coming round through the final sector. Had a very good start. He started in 3rd place, managed to fight and keep his car up in the top 10. Very unfortunate to see that his teammate, however, did have a collision about halfway through the race with Destroyer Drac, finding themselves both out of this race. Nadim, our surprise racer for this weekend, retiring last weekend, now finds himself reserving in his own team as team principal for Aston Martin. He now crosses the line with a 3-second time penalty, although on track, finishing in 3rd place. Lava, the second of the blue Alpines, will find himself up onto the podium step, giving Alpine a very strong points finish, point K
There you go.
to finish the top 5. Jas next across the
Excuse me.
line. Very clean drive. In fact, 9 positions gained from the start of the race. Jas finding himself in, what is that, 15th place. Basically last on the grid. Finds himself up into the points. Very good drive by Jas. And to finish it out, we have Semi Daniel, the first of the higher pair of the William drivers. Very good drive indeed by everyone.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate to see a lot of drivers out of the race today. Rightly so, driver of the day goes to Jas. 9 positions. Honestly, quite astonishing drive by him. But I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
the one thing I want to know is I want to talk to Med. That was an amazing drive by Med. I mean, he
Doing
managed to keep
a
it.
woman here?
He was definitely calm and collected. You know, you could see he was. Well, I say calm and collected. He was clearly focused. He managed to keep
Yeah.
that time getting cut down constantly to Mousy. Mousy trying to barrel ahead and maintain that 3-second gap, but Med just. I mean, he was my teammate last season for F121. He is no, he wasn't my teammate. I'm thinking of the wrong person. My bad. But
No.
still, Med is an incredibly quick driver, and he rightly so deserves the race victory here at Brazil. Unfortunately, we do also have the retirement of Ghost Rider. Currently, he's P2 in the Drivers' Championship. And with that retirement, Pinax gaining, I think it's 18 points in 2nd place, if I remember correctly. So that's going to be a 23-point lead in the Drivers' Championship as we go into round 5. But before we go into round 5, we have a season break next week. So I'm looking forward to having a break from everything, to be honest.
You know what's also on next week? I mean, this is not in our league, but you know what's on next week?
If you're going to say Daytona or something, I don't really...
Bathurst.
Okay. Let's see. I'm
Really?
gonna
You
try and
don't care?
pull. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna try and pull Med. I hope I haven't pulled you mid conversation. But
No, you
we'd
didn't.
like to have an interview with you because that was an amazing drive. You managed to have a good start off of the race start. You managed to
Yeah.
fight and get keep your car up on the front of the grid, and then from out of nowhere, 6 laps in, you started just cutting that time down from Mousy ahead of you. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
How was the race for you?
Yeah, it feels great. So the grip was a little bit I struggle a little bit to get to find the grip in the beginning of the wet tires. That's why it was catching up to me. I did some mistakes too, but overall, yeah, it was good. And at the end, I think I get some time back because I had less tire wear than my teammates. So I think that's all.
Well, it was a
Yeah.
stellar drive indeed. It got very close. When I saw you get the speeding penalty, honestly,
Oh
I
yeah,
was a little worried, because
I
that's going
was
to be a
gutted. I was
huge.
gutted too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a good drive. It was very good. Unfortunate to see that Mousy had a spin which did kind of overheat his tires and cause him to decide to
But
retire from the race.
that was weird to overheat his tires in wet conditions.
I mean, it is possible. I mean, if you go spinning, you lose the control of the car. It just
Oh
happens.
yeah, okay, he spin. Yeah,
Yeah.
because when I went out of the pit, he was in front of me, and I saw him struggling in the wet condition. And when I overtake him, he really dropped really fast. So I don't know what happened between inter and wet because in inter condition he had pretty good pace. But yeah, it might be the pressure tires.
Indeed, it was still a good race. Thank you very much for joining us. We are going to have to be quick because we have tier 1 in about 5 minutes. Let's grab ourselves Mr. Nee, Mr. Deem. Surprise visit by the team principal Aston Martin. You said you were going to retire last week, but here you are again racing for your own team. How was the race for you? I mean, yeah.
I mean, I came unprepared. I didn't even do a single lap on the track. Really came in expecting nothing out of the race. It was last minute anyway. didn't even join the race.
I mean, it was a surprise visit, and it's a welcome surprise
Yeah.
visit.
Yeah, I mean, happy. P4, not bad. Really exciting race. I had an interesting setup that made me a rocket ship on the straights compared to everybody. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah.
That's always good. I'm going to have to quickly move on to Pinax. We do have 5 minutes before the next
Yeah.
driver briefing. Pinax, welcome to the box. That
Hello.
was supreme driving, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you, mate.
How was the race for you?
The race was good. Like, it started as a roller coaster for me because I just woke up and missed the briefing. And like in 10 minutes, I was in a car qualifying for a race. Yeah, in a very
Very well
close
prepared.
championship. Yeah, I'm very well prepared for the championship, but luckily the pace was strong. We already saw it on the Tier 4 race, but not that strong to win the actual race. Med was flying like crazy, and like good job to him. That race was his, and like I can congratulate him here as well. And I struggled to trust the car a bit today because it felt more slippery than yesterday. In certain corners, I didn't go like I didn't accelerate as much as I did yesterday because the car was unstable in a manner that is like strange because the setup was same, only the tire pressures were changed, and it shouldn't really affect the grip levels. In fact, it'll increase the grip levels, but that was a strange case. But uh, yeah, P2 is
Still
good.
strong for the Drivers' Championship. You find yourself still taking the lead. You now, if my points are correct, if my
Yeah,
maths is correct,
probably.
you've got a 23-point lead now to Ghost Rider.
Then that's really great. That's what I was aiming for, and good result for the team as well. We're still fighting for the constructors as well.
Indeed, I'm going
And
to have to end it there because
yeah,
we do have 5 minutes before the briefing for Tier 1. But thank you, Pinax, our Tier
okay,
2 second place winner. And that will have to conclude the stream for Tier 2 because we will have Tier 1. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in about 15, 20 minutes. We'll be back with a Tier 1 race. As we have our most competitive F122 race, where all drivers are racing with no assists at all. So it'll be very interesting to see how the drivers fare in the rain at Sao Paulo. But thank you to WS and to Ollie for joining me in the commentator box, and see you in about 20 minutes.